Let's talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey. Baby, did y'all see Real Housewives of New Jersey? They are having such a great season. I am fucking telling you. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you stopped by. I had some errands to run, and I was like, okay, I'm going to record in the car or whatever. But then I have notes, and I don't want to be looking at notes and driving. I like to do trending topics because it's just stuff that I read and we're just talking about. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about trending topics later. So we got to do a couple videos today, and then we'll run our errands. Okay. So Real Housewives of New Jersey was so good. The ending I watched like 4 times. I rewound that shit like 4 times. It was so funny. So let's get into it. All right. So they showed Dolores getting an award for her breast cancer charity work. They really can't have a party about it because of COVID. So they have this thing at her house. House is decorated nice, flowers all over the place. The house looks really nice, right? And it's funny because, the women were coming over. Jennifer shows up. Jackie did show up. Jackie showed up. Of course, Melissa. And then when they were in there, they were like, oh my God, it looks like, we can have a wedding. Where's David when you need him? Honey, they showed David driving off on his motorcycle drive. That shit was so funny to me. I was like, okay, I love the editing. I like the way they do the editing. So they gave her little thing. Her daughter came down from I think Massachusetts, where she is. And so they're celebrating their mom. Oh, great. So Teresa talks about getting the house in the divorce, and that she paid off all of Joe Giudice's Giudice. She paid off all his debt. She got the house in the divorce, and everything was amicable. So she's coming up on her divorce being finalized, and now Joe sells sex toys, and Teresa is like, he wants me in on the deal with him or whatever. So she was like, whatever we need to do to support our children or whatever. So they are going to have a party down by the shore for Nono to celebrate his life, because they really weren't able to do what they really wanted to do. And so that's what they're doing. So Teresa says she feels like an orphan now. She doesn't have her parents. And, it's sad. That's not, they like died like right after one another. And then they were kind of showing, just clips of Nono, like, not, just like needing help to walk. And what was really sad is when they showed him sitting in the chair, he looked so tired. And he says, I want to go be with my wife. And I think Teresa said it, and I agree, is that he was kind of making sure that she was okay. After the divorce, he even tells the girls at one point, I'll be your dad, and then she's like, no, you make me cry. And he was like, I cry too on the inside. So shout out to Nono. Honey, whenever they start talking about, I feel like I'm about to break down. I feel like it's my grandfather. I know how it is to have a special grandparent who just, I know how it is. I know how that feels. So that scene was like, oh, no, it is what it is. So David stays around just for a little while at Dolores' house for the breast cancer thing. He doesn't stay long. I think he doesn't want to get involved in the foolishness and the mess. I think he really wants to keep himself separate from that, but whatever. Did you hear David tell Jennifer that she was too skinny? Y'all caught that? Okay. So Margaret shows up. Jackie's there. Jennifer, they talked about Jennifer's drinking, and she was like, I'm not drinking. Honey, that was a mess. They show her at the beginning of the episode, like mopping up her floor and stuff like that, because she threw up in her husband's car. She threw up in the foyer. It was a mess. So they talked about that. And then they talked about Dolores. Why doesn't Dolores live in the house? The house is beautiful. They do a tour and everything. And Dolores is like, I love my freedom. And when I heard her say that, I was like, Dolores, you need to make up your mind. I feel like Dolores is like a small piece of her wants it, but a larger piece is like, I'm good with my freedom, but I think it's more of like a peer pressure type of thing going on with wanting to be married or feeling like you need to be married. I don't know. Dolores goes back and forth for me. So I feel like she may want to get married, but because he's not really like about it, she doesn't want to seem like she's an old ass woman pressuring an old ass man to get married. That's something that young women do. Like, young women pressure young men to get married, not old ass women. Shouldn't be pressuring nobody to get married. So I think maybe it's part of that. Like, she's like, I'm okay, I'm good, I like my freedom or whatever. And then Melissa asked her, do her and David have a lot of sex? She was like, girl, I'm not telling you about my sex life with my boyfriend. That's what she says in the interview. First of all, I've always learned and was always told is when a woman asks you about how a man is in bed, just say it's okay. Even if he has you hanging from the door like stubby ass Candy Burris hanging from the door, if he has you upside down from a chandelier, when somebody asks you how's your sex life with your man, it's okay. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool. Cause girl, that's how I've ever learned. Like, you just don't tell what you do and you and your partner how good the sex is. You just don't, because somebody might want to find out for themselves. You feel me? So it is what it is. It was funny. She was giving a tour of the house and she was like, this is my ex-husband's bedroom. There was like your ex-husband's bedroom in your boyfriend's house. Girl, what the fuck? To me, the setup that Dolores have, I love every minute of it, because Frank still likes to be around. I think Frank likes to be on camera. I think he likes it, and there's nothing wrong with that. He adds to the show. He's not just sitting around. And and then she has David, and he's not going anywhere. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. So whatever. It's whatever. Anyways, so they talk about who's going to stay where when they get down to the shore. And so Jackie is going to stay with Melissa. So Jackie and Margaret are going to stay with Melissa, and Jennifer and Teresa are going to stay at Dolores's shore house. All right. So they show them all packing. It was funny when Dolores' daughter said that whatever outfit she was picking out, she said they looked like a stripper from Alabama. I didn't even see the outfit. I was in the kitchen. I didn't even see the outfit she was talking about, but that tickled me. Wait a minute. What was that? Dolores can see what Teresa deserves. Oh, Dolores can see what Teresa deserves, but doesn't see what she deserves. But how do you know? I don't understand how you frame that someone deserves marriage. What does the word deserve mean? Like, literally. Merit. So like, you've earned it. You've earned marriage? I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that like you earn marriage? I guess from a man's perspective, he can earn marriage, but from a woman's perspective, because it does actually benefit a man more than it does a woman, it's a merit for him, not for her. Right? Okay, anyways. I was like, why is Jennifer saying that? But anyways, Jen and Bill are having a little side conversation, and she says that he tells her that Joe B, Margaret's husband, mentioned that he heard the rumor. She was like, what? She was like, then Margaret didn't say anything. Yes, and I'm wondering why Jennifer is making it seem like Margaret is lying. I think from my perspective, I think Margaret is not saying anything. One, because there's no proof. That's number one. And why would you say anything if there's no proof? Like, for me, I feel like that's the time to mind your business, because it's literally just a rumor. I don't know if I would be like, I heard the rumor too, because as soon as you say I heard the rumor too, you are now part of spreading the rumor. So to me, maybe Margaret knew something, because that's how I feel. Like, I feel like she knew something. The way she went off at that table to Jennifer, like, you weren't there, so be quiet. And Joe don't know what he's talking about. He mixes up his words. He is not senile. He know what the fuck he heard. But I think what he actually heard was what happened at the party and them talking about it. So he heard it too, because he was in Margaret's house and they were talking about what happened at the party. So from Margaret's perspective, I feel like if she knows something, then she's not saying anything because there's no proof. And would you do the same? If you've heard a rumor and there was no proof, are you going to say anything? Because in this Housewives world, it's like people are always trying to send something to another person to use as ammo if needed on another person. If there's no proof, like if you don't have a picture of him, or you don't have the woman saying that it's me and she doesn't have proof, why are you going to say anything? I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Anyway. So Jackie says she wants to make sure it's not a shit show before Evan comes. They're on their way there, and she was like, I just want to make sure. I'm just going to ignore her. If she starts any shit with me, I'm just going to ignore her, okay? And so Jennifer tells Dolores, Teresa, and Frank that Bill told her that Joe at the guys' night said something. And Dolores' face was looking like ooh. And then Frank, he didn't say nothing. And then Teresa was like, see, my story is kind of validated. Girl, shut up. You're a mess. She says, Teresa mentions how Jackie insulted her by telling her, if you are able to control your husband, why is your husband in jail? I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all from that day, when Teresa says dumb shit, everybody around her allows her to say dumb shit. They just be like, okay, Teresa. And Jackie's like, girl, don't say dumb, illogical things. It doesn't make sense for you to say that. And it doesn't. If you were able to control your husband, would your husband be in jail? And now she has held that against her. I told y'all. And when she mentioned that, I was like, okay, see. That's the problem. So Teresa was like, I got her a gift. Don't worry about it. And Jennifer was like, girl, is it shady? She was like, don't worry about it. You'll see. So we found out later that it was the vibrators. I figured it out. I was like, oh yeah, she's bringing the vibrators. And I don't know why they kept calling them dildos. Dildos don't have mechanics. It's just like, it's not, there's no mechanical operating. It's just a dildo. Now, when it has mechanics, that's a vibrator. But anyways, that's your lesson. And it was funny because Teresa corrected Jackie at the table. And she was like, I'll stick that beautiful dildo up my ass. And she was like, yeah, vibrator. Oh, you in the business now? Girl, shut up. I said Margaret didn't say anything because there's probably no proof. Anyways, so they talked about, I guess, Teresa is ready. She says that her divorce is final. And is she ready? I don't understand. Let the lady's divorce be final. Why are y'all always like, okay, it's time for you to start dating now? Like, dang, what is that? It's a mess. Anyways, they arrived to the shore. And again, Melissa and Joe, Margaret and Jackie are staying with them. Why did Jackie pack all that shit? That suitcase looks so packed. And she is so tiny. It's like, what did you put in there? I don't know what she got. So, honey, ain't no telling what Jackie has in store for this trip. Because, baby, when she came at Teresa at that table, it was delightful for me. Anyway, so Teresa's house. Okay, so Teresa and Jennifer are staying with Dolores. We got that, right? So I love that when everybody arrives, that they always have spreads out. Everybody can snack on while they're getting ready. I love that, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I like New Jersey Housewives because it's like family. They're like family, and they're not, I know they're like friends within, but it's like a family atmosphere. It's very comfortable. It's very familiar. Even though the people have problems with each other. I don't know. It's just a different energy than the other shows where the people are in conflict. It's very, very weird. But I just noticed that. Anyways, I saw some hats on a bed. Hats, I don't know. Have you guys ever heard hats on a bed is bad luck? Have you ever heard that? My grandmother used to say that. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I have never looked it up to see. But anyway, so Back at Dolores's house, the realtor calls Teresa and tells her that somebody wants to, they got an offer or somebody's interested or something like that. And so she starts getting emotional, and then she shares this text between, this group text between her and her daughters, and she showed them, like, you know, the video of their house and how it's being presented. And they said it's time for a fresh start, and Teresa was crying, and it is time for a fresh start. That house is nice. When they were showing the inside of it and everything, really, really nice, but the outside just looks like real gloomy, just very gloomy. Every time you see it, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, they need to get out of that house. They need a fresh start. So I agree, and Teresa was a little emotional about it. And Dolores says that Teresa handled everything with grace and strength, right? We rarely see Teresa cry. Very rarely see Teresa cry. She'll choke up and a little tear or whatever. But when she was in the kitchen sharing those group texts with her daughter, with about, you know, the group text with her daughter, she was really emotional. And I caught how she told the realtor, call Gia or text Gia and she'll arrange it. So Gia's 20 years old, so she has, you know, she's responsible. I love that she said that. I did notice that. So they asked Teresa, is it going to be awkward with Jackie coming here? She was like, honey, this is my friend's house. This is Dolores' house. This is my turf. It ain't going to be nothing, baby. The way she got you out of that scene. Bitch. She said, this is my turf, honey. Jackie had some news for you, bitch. Jackie asks Melissa in the other house, is Teresa gonna start with me? She was like, girl, I don't know. You never can tell. It's unpredictable. You don't know. She was like, okay, whatever. And so Jennifer's telling Dolores, girl, what do you think is gonna happen? She was like, I think Teresa's not gonna hold back. She was like, I know it's gonna be a bloodbath later. Child. Anyway, so they start to get ready for the dinner, right? Dinner starts at 6:30, and Frank, Dolores tells Frank to watch the food, don't let the sauce burn. And it was funny because at the whole little scene with her and him, she was like, don't let the sauce burn. He's standing over the sauce with a cigar, stirring the sauce. This big muscle man down at Jersey Shore. She was like, there's no hell. What? There's no fury. What did she say? There's no wrath or something like a woman whose sauce is burned. And the way he turned around and looked at her with his face and that cigar. Did y'all notice that? Anyways, I was noticing weird shit. Anyways, so Jennifer talks about her sister, her daughter, and her dad went to Turkey to see their new grandson, and the mother didn't go, and she was like, I don't know why she didn't go. We've said it. The mother, now that all the kids are out the house, the mother doesn't want to be with the dad anymore. And it's clear. It's very clear. But maybe she should have gone. I mean, she doesn't want to be around him, so I can't blame her. But you're missing out on seeing your grandchild. So, like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. I don't know. I can't even tell the lady what to do. She don't want to be around that man. She don't want to be around that man. I don't know what to tell her. At dinner time, I love the way Dolores hugged Margaret's husband. She was like, my boyfriend, look at how you dress my boyfriend. I love the way they act like Joe can't dress and that Margaret be dressing him, but she does. It's that little joke is so funny to me. Anyway, so they're outside talking about the boat, Frank's boat, and all the boats cost more than the homes and all this other stuff. So Teresa, they were like, where's Teresa? You know, Jackie's there looking crazy. And Melissa thinks that Jackie is more sensitive than she actually is, which is funny to see because she's very concerned. Like, she acts like Jackie is so delicate and so fragile. I don't know why, because every other time she comes at Teresa no problem. She just keeps saying she doesn't want any problems. Anyway, so Teresa arrives with gifts, and it's the vibrators. Yes, nice boxes, nice packaging, and this and that. You can see Jackie is a little, uncomfortable with it or whatever. So she gives everybody gifts. She even gives Jackie a bag. And she was like, Jackie, I don't know if it's going to fit up your ass, but you could try, see if it can fit up your ass and stick it up your ass. Didn't you tell me that to stick the olive branch up my ass? So maybe you can stick that up your ass. I said, come on, bitch. Teresa. Baby, when I tell you Bravo producers love Teresa because she does not stop. She just goes. But now she has somebody that goes with her, and Jackie is not afraid of Teresa, and that's Teresa's problem. I am here for it. She was like, so I gave you something to stick up your ass, okay? She was like, girl, I'm not doing this with you, whatever. She was like, well, I did apologize. She said, no, you did that. No, the olive branch. I wasn't no olive branch. You sent an invite to your house in a group text. It wasn't personal. And then Teresa tells Mars, shut up, like, whatever. It doesn't matter. She was like, good, just let's agree not to be friends, right? And she was like, I'm not fighting. Teresa was like, I'm not fighting. I came bearing gifts. I'm not fighting. I said what I had to say. Yeah, right. She was not done. She was like, when they went back in the house, she was like, do you feel better now? She was like, yeah, I got it off my chest. I feel better now. And they were like, honey, Teresa's not done. And she wasn't. She wasn't done. But when I tell you, Miss Jacqueline finished her ass, baby. So they start bringing the food out. And when they're bringing the food out, Melissa is so worried about Jackie. She was like, girl, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. She was like, so Margaret starts trying to start small talk at the table. And she was like, how do you feel about Teresa selling your house? She was like, I was a little emotional about the house or whatever. And she was like, the divorce is also final. And then she tells Melissa and Joe that they need to take their words back about what they said about Joe at the reunion, about how he might try to take her money. Dolores said it too. How he might try to just, do some weird shit. And so everybody was like, Teresa was like, not everybody. Teresa was like, you guys need to take your words back. And he was like, she actually said he was a class act. And then so Joe, he mentions that Joe Giudice put out an article about him that was untrue and that Teresa did not stick up for him. So that we see that in the trailer. That comes up again later. And she was like, and Teresa didn't do anything. At one point, Teresa tells Melissa to shut up. And she was like, girl, don't tell me to shut up. Like, don't tell me to shut up. So they start getting, the table starts getting riled up. And she was like, I just had to get that off my chest. And Margaret goes, you're being a little aggressive. You being a little aggressive. This display right here is aggressive. And then you're telling Jackie to stick a fucking vibrator up her ass, girl. Like, what's up? And she was like, I'm over it. If you want to yell, this is Jackie telling her, if you want to yell at me, I'm over it. Just yell or whatever. She was like, well, did Joe tell you what he said, what he told everybody at guys' night the other night? She was like, Margaret was like, what did Joe say? What are you talking about? What did Joe say? She was like, Joe, Teresa was like, Joe, tell us what you said at boys' night. He was like, what are you talking about? And Joe Gorga and Frank sitting at the end of the table like, shit. Like, what the hell? Everybody looking crazy at the table. She was like, he said that he heard the rumor about Evan too. And Margaret looked at him and she was like, did you? She was like, did you say that? Did you say that? And then he was like, Joe, what did you say? Did you say that? He was like, no, I didn't say that. And then Jennifer goes, yeah, he did say that. She was like, were you there? If you weren't there, don't say it. She was like, no, because Bill told me. She was like, shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Marge is trying to keep everything together. She don't want. So Jackie is sitting there looking like, she just sitting there with her hand under her chin like, okay. She was like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. She was like, no, because did you hear that? She was telling fucking Joe. Sometimes Joe gets his words mixed up. Shit, that was so funny. That shit was so funny. She was like, I want to know who said it. Joe said he didn't say it. Joe mixes his words. That's what she's trying. Margaret is trying to clean something up. She was like, he didn't hear it. If he did hear it, he heard it from Teresa. So I'm kind of leaning on that Joe heard the women in Margaret's house talking about it after the party. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, but he sat at the table and said he didn't do it. So he lied. He's lying his ass off. And so Jackie was like, it's okay. Stop pushing it. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. And then Margaret goes, girl, why are you so aggressive to Jackie? Like, what's up? And then she was like, yeah, don't worry about it. She was like, you actually do treat me like shit. But she was like, but you treat everybody like shit. And then Teresa goes, do I treat you like shit? To Dolores. She was like, no. She said to Jennifer. Jennifer was like, no. And then she said to Margaret, do I treat you like shit? Margaret was like, well, you had my hair pulled. And she was like, okay, that's fair, whatever. And then she tells Melissa, do I treat you like shit? Melissa goes, well, girl, you tried to say I was a stripper. She was like, okay, so you losing ground right now. You losing ground. She was like, listen, I'm not crying. She was like, Melissa was like, this is her marriage. You're starting this shit. She's about to cry again. Jackie was like, I'm not crying. Don't worry about it. So she was like, let's just be cordial. She trying to stop it. So then what's her name? Teresa goes, you are calculated. You don't have any confidence. I'm used to being around confident people. You're not confident. And then baby Jackie goes, did you learn that confidence in jail? Bitch, when I tell you I screamed, I was not ready. I was not ready for that at all. I was like, bitch, what? I reminded that 4 times. I was like, she was not ready. And she sat there, bitch, she told you, let's just be cordial, leave it alone. And that's the problem. So you keep fucking with Jackie because you think she doesn't have confidence. You somehow believe that she's weak, but she's the only one that keeps you pressed, Teresa. You be pressed about Jackie. And she keeps telling you, leave me alone, leave me alone. Is that where you learned? She was like, so what? Yeah, I went to jail, so what? And then she goes, see, that's why I don't like her. She's a nasty bitch. That bitch told you, let's be cordial. Let's be cordial because you don't want to be enemies with me because I'm going to get you every single time. Bitch, you're a dumb bitch. So I'm going to get you every single time. I'm going to make you feel dumb every time. Bitch, Jackie was not playing with Teresa. She said, did you learn that confidence in jail? She was like, yeah, that's what I said. I said it. Come on, bitch. Is that it? Is that it for the episode, Dave? Honey, I was here for it. Y'all get that. And baby, Teresa ran from the scene once again with the analogy and once again with this. And she don't even have to say much. And you're so pressed. You really thought you were going to, I don't know. And the fact that Melissa thinks that Jackie is so fragile when she's the one that really fucks with Teresa. And that's why Teresa has a problem with her. She's always going to have a problem with her because she don't give Teresa no breathing room, bitch. You're not going to be, we not kissing the ring. I don't care. You think you the godmother. Nobody is kissing your ring, bitch. Did you learn that confidence in jail? Anyways, y'all, that's my time. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. That episode was so good. Peace.